r/AskWomen. Knockem Princess says, what made you realize you need to raise your standards? Diana Chick says, when I left my marriage and my mom finally told me what she actually thought of him, and I realized everything she had ever told me about every guy was 100% true. Med Student Gerald 2002 says, the fact that I was secretly embarrassed by my ex when being with my friends/family because of his social awkwardness. It made me awkward too. It held me back from being myself in some way, very extrovert. I learned it's important to feel comfortable with someone, not only when it's just the two of you, but also when you're surrounded by friends and family. Rotten Hat 99,018,950 says that I was going to end up being killed. Outrageous Prior 377 says, my ex checked out when I got pregnant my son. Then he left me and our 2 children to be evicted while he went off with another woman, and I found out he was still married to the one before me. We had been together more than 10 years. I found myself again. I had always known who I was. I wasn't arrogant, but I knew I couldn't be anything other than me. Trying to make everything work in that relationship, I had left everything I wanted and needed behind. Now, I'm single. I'd like to have a partner, but I can't be less than I'm, so either he meets me here and we go forward, or we can leave each other alone. Lingling Mang says, my employer kept talking in a condescending manner to me all the time. I realized I don't need to put up with that %T. Ashamed_vanilla_2892 says, when I realized I wasn't a sugar baby and the guy I was seeing wasn't a sugar daddy and I was just a 21-year-old getting paid $200 weekly to date a 43-year-old man who isn't happy with his life. Time_Fox says, a male friend showed me basic respect and it felt so foreign to me I got mad. I had to embark on an odyssey into my feelings and self-worth. It wasn't pretty, but now I'm happy. April Boone says, my ex. Vermicelli Arc 8366 says, when I explained my childhood to my BFF's friend, and she looked at me straight in the eyes, and I'm sorry you went through that kind of abuse, I hadn't even considered I was in the abusive situation. I thought it was worse for my sister, mine wasn't physical. Free_thinker forever says, being cheated on by losers. Like what? I'm a magical and exquisite goddess, and not a rehab center for self-hating man-children. Dogger Philosopher says, loving a man who physically and sexuality abused me. Kitty says, when I realized religion was a scam, lol, my religious upbringing was all about women devaluing ourselves, martyring ourselves into doormats. Then I grew up and started educating myself. Now life is fun. Close bracket. No_photograph_570 says, I knew I needed to raise my standards when my ex-female friend got drunk one night and told me she was just using me and only acting interested to get free food and drinks. This was right after I found out I got a good paying position in a different state and that I was moving soon. So I used that as an excuse to slowly cut ties and noped out of that friendship. Fast forward to 3 years later, I've gotten in shape, made a good amount in the stock market, bought a few apartment buildings to rent out as well as a new house. Now all of a sudden she hit 30 years old and wants to date after her ex-fiancé, the same guy she chose over me, dumped her for a younger woman, and is nearly homeless. r/AskWomen. Asian 24 says, when was the last time you felt most happy in your life? Give some details. What happened? What made you happy? What you did to celebrate it if you? What was the exact reason behind it? In a Sense of Blue says, not a specific time, but just before I started getting crippling anxiety as a teenager. Sometimes the knot in my stomach slightly loosens, and I go, ah, that's what it felt like, and then it knots again. The Pinnacle says, today when I caught a frog. Yogi_cat says, summer of 2019. Warm Recording 2223 says, I honestly can't remember, but I haven't felt right since 2019. Heaven Girl says, no celebration. Just a really special and kinda last minute night with someone special to me. I think that was the first time I was ever truly in love. It was just like I was alone in the world with him. I only wish it had lasted. I punch old people says, 2011. At value 20 to 22 says, my 3-year-old and my 4-month-old girls are infatuated with each other. They look at each other lovingly and they hold hands already. It's just so damn cute. My older daughter was showing the baby her favorite books today. Apprehensive_air5557 says, last night I helped a family through the dying process and felt like I really made an impact. The whole situation really made me realize I'm finally in a job that was meant for me. I've never felt like that before. Juna_Nico says, I can't really remember, but when I feel most content and relaxed/peacefully happy is when I'm laying with my person. It's never a long amount of time, but I always wish to stay and feel like that forever. Megawood69 says, dancing in the rain at a fish show with my best friend. Queet Chris 8 says, college, the summers between classes. I worked 6-2 and had the house to myself. I had enough money for my needs, no unexpected guests, and could come and go for as I pleased. No expectations, no drama and no kidding. Holdma Firmatus says, right now, which is such a relief. I felt so depressed and stuck the last few years, but I moved to a new city last year in the hopes that it would help me re-energize my life, and it worked. I have made a bunch of new friends lately, have a darling little bungalow that I've decorated to perfection. I'm feeling happy with my looks and my body, and feel inspired creatively. I also have been doing a good job trusting my own intuition when dating, and I'm finding the process much easier and enjoyable. Plus hot and emotionally available people seem to be finding me hot as well, lol. I'm feeling a lot of optimism for my future, which is more than I could have said 2 years ago. Cherubim_777 says, my friend was up visiting me and we went to a theme park. Rode all the roller coasters, Ferris wheels, plunges, you name it. Then we got dinner at this cute beer garden. We went back to my place, drank wine, and watched the first Spider-Verse movie. She rolled over, a bit drunk, and asked me out. I had a massive crush on her, and I felt like the happiest woman alive. And then we boned. Healed_Gemini93 says, 1. Going on vacation with my family. We stayed in this gorgeous 3-story resort huge cottage that overlooked the water, and despite having a family of 5 I had a whole room and bathroom entirely to myself. The view was amazing. We all live in different states, my siblings, so being able to be with my family and enjoy time off of work made me really happy. Galaxy Gazer says, this morning, I'm tired and preparing for bed right now. I saw a rainbow on my way to work this morning. I remembered seeing rainbows when I used to live in Hawaii a long time ago, and it made my day. r/AskWomen. Heka 2009 says, women of Reddit, what's a communication tip that has significantly improved your relationships, whether romantic, familial, or friendships? Infinite_5 says, use sign language during discussions. It helps. Celestialism says, if you're feeling overwhelmed, angry, triggered, etc., it is almost always best to ask to take a break from the conversation for at least 10 to 15 minutes, rather than continuing to have it. Our activated nervous systems and our rational minds have completely different ways of addressing conflict. Taylor says. Explaining to people how I feel, like they are 5-year-olds. Using words like I'm upset, rather than just telling the story. Saying things in the moment and very directly. Asin Tad says. Never expect others to have the same knowledge and expectations that I have. Both in my personal and professional life, I always take the time to explain what I want and why. I also feel like explaining the why is very important, even if you aren't 100% sure of the reason yourself. Common sense doesn't exist. No one is thinking exactly how you are. Inipaga says. Fake it till you make it. Act as if you have all the confidence in the world. If something embarrassing happens to you, or you say something that would be considered dumb, laugh it off. Smile more, uncross your arms, speak your thoughts, be more interested, and stop trying to be so interesting. Don't take everything so seriously. Pancake Queen 13 says. It's actually from Ted Lasso. Be curious, not judgmental. I've been having a hard time with work lately. My clients are vulnerable people and the drug crisis isn't getting better. It's been real hard for me to not immediately judge someone by their hostile behaviors and want to stop being polite towards them, but I'm reminding myself to ask myself first why they are behaving that way and reacting less emotionally to the situation. Polaris Borealis says. I stopped responding nothing when my partner asks what's wrong. I don't withdraw affection when I'm angry. Both things were bad habits I picked up as a young woman. Now after having gone to therapy, I understand how toxic and unfortunately common they are. Fivani Trentle says. It's okay to take time to know how you feel about something before doing / saying / agreeing, etc. XKTN8 says. You communicate best when you listen best. Tau Collection 7460 says. Leave the phones in the kitchen after work and before bed. It gives us so much more time to reconnect without mindlessly scrolling. Was not easy to adapt to, but so worth it now that we are in the habit. Jan & Co says. I've learned to really listen to people without distraction or judgment. Agena's Milkmaid says. Don't bottle up feelings or issues until you're at the point of meltdown. If someone has upset you, talk to them about it. C Red Scallops says. Spend more time listening. Be constantly curious. Shijelila 224 says. Be slow to speak and quick to listen. Also taking time out to fully analyze my thoughts and feelings before presenting them to someone I love. I want to ensure that my feelings are real and valid and not just me being moody. A Terrible Friend Zero says. Over communicating is better than under communicating. Bumblebino 3833 says. It's unrealistic and unfair to expect other people to read your mind and know what you want in advance or know what would upset you. Communicate expectations and feelings clearly. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe